Hello everyone, I'm Sid, your narrator and DM for this D&D extravaganza! Sorry. I'm just so hyped for this project. So, I like D&D, and a couple of friends of mine said to me once that they'd like to give it a go. So I arranged a one-shot adventure for them to try it out, which then turned into a full-blown campaign. Well, guess I'm a masochist! Now, this is my first time being a proper DM, and we've played a few games already, and it's actually been a lot of fun. So much fun, in fact, that I've decided to make some low-budget doodle animatics like this one to document and share the adventure. It's just for fun. Don't judge me on the poor quality, because that would be a real dick move. Anyway, this is a fun homebrew campaign setting following some classic Final Fantasy tropes because I also love that game franchise and it was a huge inspiration for me. I'll try and get these videos out as soon as each story arc in the game is finished, but who knows how long that's going to be, so please bear with me. Either way, I hope you enjoy my cute doodles recounting the story of Thalia's Boon. Welcome one and all to the homebrew setting for this particular D&D campaign, the island continent of Thalia, just off the Sword Coast. The adventuring party for this story consists of Armless, a half-elf ranger, a dwarven cleric of trickery, Dawson, white dragonborn eldritch knight known as Maeth, and Paige, their accompanying NPC, a barmaid turned adventurer wanting to see the world. For various different reasons, Armless, Dawson and Maeth have been travelling the world until their paths eventually crossed at Helby on Thalia. There they've been living for almost a year now, doing the odd jobs together around town to make ends meet. Unfortunately, Armless couldn't join us on the first session, so Paige, Dawson and Maeth set out to answer a call for help found on the local town notice board. It appeared that old Yolandram's potion shop had been ransacked in the night. The old elf suspected his neighbours, Sal and Gregory, since they had both been complaining about the terrible smell coming from his shop. Upon interviewing Sal the hairdresser and Gregory the butcher, the party discovered that the two had airtight alibis. Further investigation led the group to discover strange scratch marks around Yolandram's broken door that matched some in the dumpster outside. Following the clues, the party came to an abandoned house on the edge of town, where they were quickly attacked by sentient hairballs. Turns out that the waste from all three shops had coagulated in the dumpster and birthed unholy abominations. The party quickly defeated the hairballs and returned triumphant. Heading back to the local inn, they came across a foul-tempered man called Henry. It appeared he and his brother had had a falling out over a family heirloom their late mother had left to them. His brother Mort had run off with the golden necklace and locked himself away in an old traveller's restaurant outside of town. Unable to break the magic seal on the door, Henry needed someone to go and check that his brother was all right, and so he could talk with him and patch things up. The party agreed to help, because why wouldn't you? However, upon entering the rest stop, they find Mort dead with a dagger in his back and his body propped up against a locked door, clawing at it as if he wanted to get inside. When they went to inspect the body, the ghost of a woman appeared and blocked their path, screaming, "Leave him! Free me!" Not wanting to tangle with a ghost, the party looked around a bit more, and after some puzzle solving, our heroes found two keys and a mysterious bottle that Maeth just decided to pocket for some reason. Without checking what it was, upon opening the locked door, they found the body of a woman wearing the golden necklace. Her corpse fell forward and became entangled in Mort's arms as if in a loving embrace. The ghost smiled and faded away to the afterlife happy. Confused and rather angry at being lied to, the party confronted Henry back at the pub. Turns out, Henry wasn't all that nice to his wife, and she'd run off with his brother. Henry had tracked them down, stabbed his brother in the back, and locked his wife in the rest stop's back room to starve to death. Upon returning home, he discovered that his wife had been wearing the heirloom, but he couldn't go back into the rest stop to get it because it had magically sealed behind him. The party handed Henry over to the local law enforcement and turned in for the night. At breakfast the next day, the party, joined by Armless, overheard some concerned parents talking about how all the children's toys were going missing. After snooping around, the party discovered that some goblins had been sneaking into people's houses at night and stealing the toys. Some clues led them to the small island on the Salt Lake outside of town. On the island was a cave, And inside that cave was a wormling black dragon sleeping atop the stolen toys. While trying to figure out what to do, the dragon awoke. Thinking on their feet, the party managed to befriend the creature, who introduced himself as Tatsu. Concluding that Tatsu was just basically an innocent child who had somehow ended up in the tiny cave in a backwater fishing town, the party planned to inform the mayor that as long as the townspeople provided Tatsu with toys and food, he wouldn't cause any trouble. Just then, another boat docked at the island, and 4 dead goblins were dumped onto the shore by 2 mysterious figures. Enter Dio and Thalia Glorious, members of the Twin Demon Guild from Dragonrend. They had been paid to locate Tatsu and kill him, but the party jumped to Tatsu's defense, explaining that he was just a child and wouldn't harm anyone. Dio, being an honorable and horribly arrogant fellow, offered a solution. He would test their resolve by challenging them to combat. If they proved themselves, he and Thalia would leave. But if the party failed, they would kill them and take Tatsu's head to collect their bounty. Mayeth accepted the challenge, stepping forward brave and true, and was absolutely decimated by Dio in a single hit. Admiring that our heroes were willing to put their lives on the line, Dio healed Mayeth and agreed to let Tatsu live. As they left, Thalia suggested that if the party ever fancied becoming an official guild, they should travel to Dragonrend, and she'd put in a good word for them. At the thought of this, Paige was over the moon that she could finally follow in her late father's footsteps. With Dio and Thalia gone, Tatsu safe and no more goblins to cause any trouble, the party headed back to the inn and prepared to travel to Dragonrend and seek new adventures. But what new dangers await our heroes? Well, dear viewer, you'll have to wait for next time.